Shut up and sit down.
And right at the last minute he decides, I'm going to go across the crossroads. Anyhow, I T-boned him. I hit him smack bang in the middle of the car. Went over the top of the car, followed by the bike, hit the road, rolled out the way because the bike had also come over with me, and the bike landed on the floor next to me. Big crash and a bang. I remember hitting the road. I remember hitting the road and I topped my bloody head, and then coming down face first and sliding up the road like this, like Superman. So I was sort of like, oh bloody hellfire. Come to me senses, pick myself up. It's all dark and the car's gone. The car's disappeared. And I find my bike, drag my bike into the hedge, realise I'm not riding that bike home any further than I've just got it, pull my helmet off, pull my gloves off, and I start walking, thinking I've got to walk home now, or at least walk to Abergele to start getting towards a phone box too, because it was in the days of no mobile phones. I thought I could give my dad a ring, my dad can come and find me, he can bring the trailer down, we can find the bike. I got probably about 2 miles up the road with my helmet and my gloves, staggering along, still listening to my music because I got my bloody Sony Walkman in my pocket, so I got my earphones on as well. I was having to listen to some music. And the car pulled up. It was the first car I'd seen. And the guy took one look at him and he goes, "Are you alright?" I went, "Yeah, I'm just going to walk to Abergele and ring my dad. Just come off my bike." And he looked at me and he went, "Hey, you're not walking no further, mate." He said, "You better get in my car." So I got in the car and he took me straight to the hospital, to A&E. I said, "Thanks very much." And he told me, "You better go and get yourself checked out." And I walked into the hospital. Walked up to reception in the A&E department. The lady took one look at me, and next thing I know, there's people everywhere. They've got me on a trolley, and I don't remember much after that. I don't remember bugger all of the rest of the night. I remember waking up the following morning, sort of coming round, and I've got 2 arms up in, I was in plaster from knuckles up to my shoulders, both arms. This leg from toe to hip in plaster. Thinking, what the hell have I done? Because I'd walked from the scene of that accident, took helmet off, picked my bike up and everything. Apparently I was in surgery for about 6 hours that evening, emergency surgery, not realising I'd even hurt myself. Turns out I'd smashed both my wrists, that one, destroyed my kneecap. To find out later on in the day that the guy I hit was, when they found his car and then traced him, then found my bike and put 2 and 2 together, he was still about 3 times over the drink drive limit the following day. Yeah, drunk driver. Anyhow, that really should have put me off riding bikes, but it did not put me off riding bikes. So I'm out of action now I was in hospital for about 3 weeks. I come home, still got my leg all in plaster, still got both arms in plaster, and now I'm beginning to panic. I've got my motorbike test, in about 8 weeks from coming out of hospital. I'm thinking, I haven't got a bike. I haven't got nothing to ride for my test, and that was my first aim. Where's my bike? My dad had got my bike back. It was in the garage. So he'd gone to work one day, and I went in the garage. I looked at my bike and I thought, need a set of clocks. Forks have come up through the stanchions. Forks aren't bent. Front wheel's not bent. God knows how. A few bits of broken plastic. Headlight was broken. Had a broken indicator. Bent handlebars. Bit of a dent in the tank when I'd gone up the seat and hit the tank before I went over. So the back end of the bike was fine. Just a broken taillight lens where it had flipped over and landed. I thought, tough little bike. So I rung our local Kawasaki dealer up, said to him, look, this is the registration, this is the chassis number I need. Can you get me all these bits? So the guy said, yeah, I can get them in about 2 or 3 days. Alright, not problem. So my dad came home that night and he put his motorbike back in the garage. And he says, you been in the garage? I went, yeah, just went to have a look at my bike. You're not thinking of riding bike again, are you? I went, yeah, of course I am. He says, I've ordered all the bits today to fix it. I says, will you go to Road and Trial in Rill? Because they've ordered the bits and they're going to be there. So I took my dad in to go into the bike shop, and the following night he came home with all the bits. So I spent the next week with a leg in plaster, 2 arms in plaster, and I pieced my bike back together. And one afternoon, after putting it started up, I thought, fuck's sake, it's running. I don't believe it's running. So about this point now, we're a good few weeks being home. I've got about 3 weeks to go for my test. Got an appointment in the hospital. So I go down there and they take this arm out of a cast. This one, they tell me I've got to go back in and have more surgery on it. They take my leg out of the cast but strap it up because it's still, kneecaps still want supporting because they'd put a new kneecap in and repaired on my knee. So they set a date to do some more work on the wrist, on the right wrist, which is the one I'm still having problems with. So I had that surgery done. I'm thinking, got me test in a week. I'm not going to get my test done. It's too late to cancel it now. I've lost my money. So one night my dad says to me, when's your test? I says, tomorrow. He goes, have you cancelled it? I went, I didn't cancel it. I just couldn't be arsed. Lost the money. Sod it. Don't matter, I'll rebook it. So he fucks off to work the following morning. My mum goes to work the following morning. And I thought, test 11 o'clock. Mum gets home at 3. Dad will be home at 5. I thought, sod it. I'm going to go and take my test with an arm in plaster. I thought, I can do this. Even if I have to start the bike with my left foot, I can do this because I couldn't start it with my right leg. So I puts all my gear on. New helmet, new jacket, new gloves, everything. And I rides off to the test centre in Llandudno. Get there, sit in the test centre. They book me in. Examiner comes out. Hiya, yeah, I'm Paul. Where's your bike? I said, it's outside. Let's go and have a look. Then he says, he looked around the bike. He says, yeah, okay. Read that number plate. Read the number plate. And he goes, I want you to go out the test centre, turn right, end of the road, turn left, to the roundabout, left. Up the road to the next junction, turn left. come down past the police station, turn onto the test centre road, and I want you to do that for me. And at some point I'll stand with my clipboard and you've got to do an emergency stop. So I'd done a lap, and I just doing my second lap, and he steps out between two cars. So I do my emergency stop, and he says, right, proceed back to the test centre, I'll meet you there. So I go off back to the test centre, parks my bike up in the test centre, stands there waiting for him. And he comes over with his clipboard and he's going tick 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 and doing blah blah blah, and he goes, oh, congratulations, you've passed your motorcycle test. So he gives me the clipboard, he gives me a pen, and he goes, you'll need to sign that. And I'm thinking, I ain't taking my glove off, not a cat and else chance. So I managed to hold the pen in my glove and I signed, and he gave me the certificate. And I couldn't have got out of there quicker. So I rode home, put my bike back in the garage. Well, right, test done, broken arm or not, I've passed my test. Got a right bollocking off my dad because he noticed I'd moved my bike. But that night, my dad kept a promise to me that he always said the moment I passed my test, whatever bike he was riding at the time, he would give me the bike. Now then, I've still got that bike. She's actually down here under that cover. See, there is a motorbike down there somewhere. There's the tyre. There's the exhaust. It's a CB250 RSA. I rode that bike till 1987, and it's been parked in that spot ever since, because that was the first biggish bike I ever had. It's 250 single. But in the meantime, I bought myself my first car. Most of my mates had gone for Minis or Mark 1 or Mark 2 Ford Escorts, or Avengers or Sunbeams if they could afford a slightly newer car. I wasn't in that bracket at the time because I was still an apprentice and the money wasn't that good. So I went out and found a roadworthy but tatty Hillman Imp. And I spent then 6 months restoring that Hillman Imp. It was brought home. I drove it home. First time I'd driven a car on my own since passing my test. Because I passed my car test first time as well. And from passing my car test to actually getting my Hillman Imp was 6. It was about 6 weeks, 7 weeks maybe from passing my test. And I drove it straight into the garage from buying it. And proceeded to literally turn it just into a body shell. So it was just engine gearbox straight out, suspension off it, everything, seats out, interior out, all the glass out, because my intention was to turn that into a rally car. Upon stripping it back down to bare metal, it was like, well, a colander basically. It was rotten. It was just full of body filler. It looked good, but it was full of body filler. So I made the decision I wasn't going to scrap it. So I started buying panels for it. I bought brand new sills. I had to make the inner sills. I bought rear wheel arches, rear quarters. Couldn't get front wheel arches, so I made them. I bought front strut towers for it. Repaired everything on that car. The bodywork, by the time I'd finished with it, was a bare body restoration. Didn't have any rust on it anywhere. I didn't underseal it underneath. I used red lead and then loads and loads or gallons of hammerite underneath. Everything, every interior panel that wasn't going to be painted was hammerited. and the car was painted Ford Rosso red. Did a Vauxhall Viva disc brake conversion on the front, Saab turbo seats in it, relocated the radiator to the front, full roll cage. This was all before I put it on the road. Built a 998 engine for it. So this is the very first engine I've ever built for a car. I totally love that car. Absolutely amazing car. I ran that car for 5 years, but whilst I was running that car, I then realised it wasn't the most reliable car in the world. About 8 weeks and it'd pop a head gasket, even with the rad in the front. Because I didn't realise at the time I'd pushed the compression ratio so high, the gaskets would just fail due to compression and the crap fuel we had. But we ended up putting Wills rings on the cylinder head and doing all sorts of mods and got that engine very reliable. Then started breaking gearboxes. But in the interim, I bought a Morris Marina. Don't laugh, yes, I bought a Morris Marina. A 1.8 TC Coupe in orange.